has ranked them the #1 rock band ever, and we have with us the lead vocalist of the band Motherjane. Please welcome Suraj.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Asia didn't rank us the best rock band ever.
The best
won.
rock act.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
last
but then,
year we did win
I
some.
say that you're the bestest rock band ever.
You have good taste.
So could you tell us about how this band evolved, and especially about the Kathakali phase, and that only half of it, the whole story behind it?
Yeah, well, this is a long story, and so we started this band in 1996. I wasn't even part of the band there. John and Clyde were classmates in college, and they started this band. And like every band, a few people who were in part of the initial this thing started moving and doing alternate careers, etc. And Baiju joined in the year 2000. 1998. I joined in 2000, and Rex was with us in 2000. So we did one album called Insane Biography in 2002, and it did well. We won an award for the best album, and it got played in some 14 US radio stations, 5 Mexican stations. And a lot of people used to say, you guys have the talent and stuff like that. And we always used to say that after our second album, we are going to become world famous types. And
was that kind of an intuition or something? Or?
Yeah, I guess it was an intuition. Sometimes it's a determination, not even an intuition. And so we always used to say that, the second album is what's going to happen. So when we finished the second album, we came up with this term called maktub, which means it is written, because destiny seems like a very ordinary thing to. So maktub is an Arabic word which says it is written. And why we actually came up with that term is that we always say that in life there is a tendency for something to happen. So if you are a Malayali band based in Kerala singing rock, and you're singing in English also, your tendencies for actually making it big in the world may not be very high. And at that kind of a situation, we feel that if you let life slide by, that will play it out. But if you want to change it, you actually have to step inside and you have to create an alternate life. And so we, all the 5 of us, stepped in there and said, this is the thing that we want. And we created that, we felt it, we dreamt it up, and it was that creation part of it that we are actually trying to tell people. Even in that Kathakali mask, etc., for example, we are actually telling people that, part of you is flesh, part of you is spirit. And as flesh, you actually just live. You go through life, things happen, you don't know that you have too much control over things, and so things happen. But there are times of life when you can actually change something. And so then you have to access that spirit side of yourself. And so our message was, using Kathakali was obviously one of the most obvious choices for a Malayali band actually, but the fact that we used it was to prompt this question, why half? And that is to actually say that yes, you are spirit and you are flesh both.
And about passing this message to the people, if you're talking about the people out here in Kerala, it's more of filmy based or more classical based, but something like rock, somewhere down the lane, didn't you think about that, whether it will be able to reach the people?
Yeah. See, there are always more popular forms of art, or maybe more commercially acceptable forms of art in any country. Because if you go take Bollywood to Indonesia, probably that would not actually do well either. I don't think an artist should bother too much about whether he's doing this for the commercial reasons or for what he actually likes. For us, we have always been attracted to rock, all 5 of us, because it has this element of freedom of expression in it. There are very few rules in rock. True. You're welcome to break it, And another very nice thing about rock is that your audience is also there by your side saying that, go ahead, break the rules, I'm there, I'll listen and I'll tell you whether I like it or not. It is, in many senses, rock is a very democratic form of music. You're a classical singer. You know that you have to have a certain standard, do a certain thing in a certain way, you have to learn under a guru before you actually do a presentation. Rock attracts almost anybody. You have something to say, you can join a rock band. I'm not saying that talent is not required, but I'm saying that the entry level is very easy in a rock band, and it attracts passion more than anything else.
And what about the kind of genre you guys do?
Oh well, that is For any artist, that's a very confusing question sometimes, and we have kind of boiled down. We have a new war cry almost. It's like a slogan. It says that ethnic spirits, global rock. I think that is our genre, because we have inculcated a lot of things that are from our land and our culture, and that ethnic spirits is in that entire thing. Sometimes you can even say it goes as far as the way we've actually depicted ourselves, and the way we come on stage and that Kathakali paint and stuff and all that. A lot of it is in the music. The philosophy is very Indian in many places, etc. And yet the energy is very global rock kind of thing, because most of our shows are big arena with anywhere between 3,000. Last week we had a show where there were 15,000 people there. It is so. And one of the nicest thing that happens to us always after a show is that we'll get maybe a few hundreds of people who will come and say that, I don't like rock, but I like your band. So we are ethnic spirits, global rock, I think.
Okay, and what about fusing Carnatic with pop and rock and stuff like that? More kind of innovative in that way, like putting Indian classical music also into rock.
A lot of that is done in what we are doing now. Like, for example, our guitarist Baiju, very amazing. He does a lot of Carnatic riffing, and the way he plays, it's very Carnatic based in that sense. And so that is happening. And it is happening to the degree that somebody is comfortable with it. I am not going to suddenly burst into alaps and all that, because I am not comfortable to that. See, any band finally it's a mixture of 4, 5 individuals, maybe 3 individuals, but you should give space for each person to be himself. And you have to find each person's strengths and bring that out. And so, if I'm philosophic, for example, that has space in Motherjane. If Baiju has this Carnatic streak, it has space for him. If he's a fiery, emotional person, that comes there. Deepu's a tough guy, and that comes into the thing. Clyde's a sweet, smiling kind of this thing, and that is there. John flows, and that is there. So any band really is a matter of 4 or 5 people really being a unit and allowing that to happen.
And what is the kind of music that inspired you?
Oh, we all have different tastes. I personally love Queen, I love Dire Straits, I love Iron Maiden, I love Aerosmith, and Pink Floyd, Deep Purple. And so all of us do have, actually most of us have different tastes also. One thing you do realize when you're doing your own kind of music is sometimes you like a certain thing, you can duplicate it also, but when you create something entirely different. I have a friend who once told me, he says, you may sing this very well, but when you finally start making your own music, you may sing something entirely different. He said, let that be. And I think that was the best advice that I've ever got, because when you finally sing your own song, it is your own song. And so none of us should ever try and be as good as the next person. We should always try to be as good as we can be. And it's
basically like you need to compete with yourself.
Yeah, it is basically that you need to find yourself. It is, it's there in the way that know yourself. That is the same for any artist, whether it's music, playing an instrument, painting, whatever it is. You are supposed to know yourself. This world, you are a unique, single person. There's nobody else in this world like you. And so why wouldn't you celebrate that?
Yeah.
You should do that.
And apart from being the lead vocalist, you also write the lyrics. So how did that get into the picture?
I'm very opinionated.
Was it something that came like by chance? Like you were suddenly penning down something and then you realized like, I write.
Very by chance, because the first time we decided to write, make our own song, I was like, so what about lyrics? And somebody said, you write anything here, nobody listens to that kind of stuff. So, and so I, by default, started writing the lyric. And that was probably one of the first lyrics that I've ever penned down. And what we have done is that, with our lyrics, is that a lot of the things that we have sung about are things that we have gone through as people and as, as a band. And the first song was called Disillusion, because, we all had different tastes. And we're trying to make a song together, and one guy wants to do this, the other guy wants to do that, and it starts with, I have a dream that consumes me. I bring along a simple question: can your perception be my reality, and will mine become an intrusion? And so a lot of our music is about how we have grown as a band.
But like you said, like all of you are, you all have different tastes and different likings and everything. somewhere at the end you guys need to have something in common
Yes,
to come
and
as a band
yeah.
and
Yeah,
perform.
this is how we actually compose music. We come up with one single thing, a theme, or in that case, we came to this point that disillusioned, and what happens is that we write about a certain song or something, and then all of us interpret the same common subject, and that's where you meet. It's like taking the morning newspaper and saying that, okay, there are hundreds of things there. Okay, look at this. There was earthquake in Haiti, and then all five of you talk about that simple topic. You may all say it differently because you're different, you come as different people, but because you're talking about the same common subject, it meets.